Alright, so with the PS4 being completely dead and irrelevant now that the PlayStation 5 is right around the corner, which honestly is also going to be completely dead and irrelevant on arrival, I figured I'd make a video going over the top 5 worst PS4 games that were released on the console. These are the games that received a lot of hype but ultimately just fell flat in many areas. Now, honestly, this could have been a much longer list considering how many trash games actually released for the PlayStation 4, but I didn't want to be here for hours because that's how long it would take to individually go over all the trash games that got released. So I decided to just limit it to 5 games. These are the games that only people with bad taste could actually enjoy. This list is 100% objective, and if you disagree, just know you're a loser and not worth taking seriously. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump into the list, starting off with Ghost of Tsushima. Now, this game is nothing but a boring, generic hack and slash Assassin's Creed ripoff with a boring, predictable story, sleep-inducing gameplay that has no depth. I mean, the gameplay in this game is so cookie cutter, so plain, so bland. It's just ridiculous how they thought this was okay to release a game with gameplay this bland. But of course they knew that the Sony fanboys and people with bad taste would buy it regardless, so they didn't really have to do much. You know, graphics that look last gen at best, and that's me being extremely generous. A soundtrack that is sure to get on your nerves almost instantly. The soundtrack, they just spam the same music over and over again for fight scenes. It's a constant headache. How anyone who considers themselves to be a decent human being could actually be a fan of this game is beyond me. I already made an absolutely groundbreaking in-depth analysis on this game, so if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch it and just be enlightened, be absolutely amazed and shocked at the facts that I'm spitting in that video, because that video was just absolutely amazing. But all in all, this game is complete trash, and it just goes to show a lot of people just aren't intelligent in this world if they're playing games like this. Next game is God of War. Now, God of War has always been a complete mess of a game franchise. I mean, boring, brain dead hack and slash gameplay where you simply just press a button and win. You know, edgy cliche story. Oh, I'm mad. I'm Kratos and I'm so mad. I want revenge. I just want to kill things. Just boring, bland story, no depth, poorly written, graphics so ugly you'd wish you were blind, and just all around a travesty of a game. But this latest installment, oh boy, did they make it even worse. This game is nothing but a daycare simulator, a take your son to work day simulator, a Last of Us simulator, Last of Us Kratos edition. That's all it is. It tries to tell some cliche story about family and fails in every way. The gameplay is literally just Dark Souls, but not nearly as good. No epic boss fights. All the boss fights are reskinned. You fight the same troll over and over again. It's just insane. The graphics look dated already, and the game is not even, what, 2 years old at this point. Just a really pathetic entry in the franchise. But the whole franchise in general, like I said, is pathetic. But the fact that this garbage game won Game of the Year just proves not only that that award show is rigged, I've known that for years, but also proves how many fake gamers with bad taste actually exist. What a terrible game. Next game is The Last of Us Part 2, a completely unnecessary sequel to a boring and overrated game. This game did not need to be made. The original Last of Us was bad enough, but I'll take that game over this game any day. I mean, this game failed in every way. People were excited for it at first. I came out months before release, and said, no, this game is going to be trash. I got hate, of course. People said I didn't know what I was talking about. Yet as soon as this game dropped, everyone hated it. They despised it, proving once again how truly great I am, proving once again that I have knowledge far beyond anybody on this planet. I mean, I was able to do what they could not do. It just always happens. I come out and say something, I don't know what I'm talking about, you're wrong, and then it comes out that I'm right, but they don't give me my props because they're embarrassed. They're like, well, we can't admit that he was right, so let's just act like we knew this all along. It's pathetic. I'm always right. But this game was trash. Everything from the story to the gameplay, everything just as bad as the first game was. Just take everything that was bad about the first game and amplify it, and that's what you get with The Last of Us Part 2. Just a pathetic game. If by some reason you were actually a fan of this game and thought it was good, I'm sorry, but I sense mental issues. You were not all there up top. No way. This game was complete garbage. Next game is Spider-Man. Spider-Man for the PS4. It was one of the most pathetic games I've ever played. A Batman Arkham Knight ripoff. Or not even Arkham Knight, but just Arkham series ripoff. It completely copied the combat system but made it worse in every way. It's like, how do you have the golden ticket to a great combat system like that? You're literally doing nothing but copy and pasting it, and you get it so wrong. You get it so bad. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. The gameplay was so dull. The story was awful. But back to the gameplay, it was the same combos over and over again. Brain dead, button masher. I don't understand how anybody could think this game was good. DC, leave the games to DC, man. DC makes better games. They really do. They make better comics. They make better games. DC, all in all, is far superior than Marvel. Fact, and this is not an opinion. But it's just plagiarism at its finest. This game is just, we can't do what DC does, so let's try to just copy DC and let's make it worse in every way. That's all they did with this game. I mean, terrible. Graphics, horrible. The Spider-Man game on the PS1 looks better than this. Just an all-around travesty of a game. And lastly, we have Horizon Zero Dawn. More like Horizon Zero Awards. This overhyped piece of garbage couldn't win a single award, which is why it was complete trash and the epitome of overrated garbage. Just generic trash, open world game with nothing to do, a cliche story we've seen 1,000 times, boring as hell, bow and arrow gameplay, mechanics that just got so cheesy. Like you do the bow and arrow, you shoot the little things off the robot dinosaurs, you keep doing it over and over again. It was so repetitive, bro. The graphics were downgraded. You could tell like it just did not look the same. The fact that Sony fanboys thought this trash could honestly compete with Zelda Breath of the Wild is simply hilarious. Zelda curb stomped this game into dust the year that it came out. They were really trying to compare the two. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn is much better than Zelda Breath of the Wild. Zelda destroyed this game. Are you dumb? But this game was trash. Horizon Zero flop. That's all it is, man. So there you have it. These are the top 5 worst PS4 games. Like I said, I could have added way more, but I didn't want to be here all day. But what a terrible console the PS4 was. Just proves Sony has lost their way. And I'm convinced, no, I'm not even convinced, I know for a fact that the PS5 will be even worse. PlayStation is no more, man. Sony just cannot get it together anymore. I don't know what happened to them. They were putting out hits with the PS1, putting out hits with the PS2. But ever since that PS3 came out, that George Foreman grill of a PS3, they have been on a downward spiral. But yet they have an army of brain dead morons that actually think the games that they're putting out are quality. There is nothing quality. There hasn't been a quality PS4 game in I don't know how long. Or not even PS4 game, just PlayStation game in general. Can we really look back? Are we going to look back years later and say, man, God of War PS4 was a groundbreaking masterpiece. Horizon Zero Dawn, no, nobody's going to care about these games. Nobody cares about these games right now. They're already dead. They came out and immediately flopped. But we're still looking back on games from the PS1 era. We're still looking back on games for the PS2 era. PS3, nope. PS4, nope. It's going to be the same thing with the PS5. We're not going to look back and see any games that came out that impressed us unless you're, like I said, a brain dead Sony fanboy. But that's all I got for this one, man. Just PS4. What a terrible console.